So since we still know absolutely nothing about GTA 6, where we're going, what it will be, the speculation is ramping up. In an interview just 2 days ago, Rockstar co-founder Jamie King has said that he expects GTA 6 to be less edgy than GTA 5. Now, a few things to be aware about this statement. One of them being that Jamie King, if you look at his LinkedIn page, you can see last time he worked at Rockstar was in 2006. So that means he didn't work for the company for 16 years, and all of this is basically just pure speculation, okay? He's reading himself a lot into the situation. I'll link this article down in the description as well, so you can go read up on it yourself. But we're going to fly through some of the highlights of what he exactly said. He said, "I wouldn't be surprised if the tone starts changing, and if it's maybe not quite as edgy or quite as funny," he added. "I think maybe there's more of an opportunity for them to do something cheesy, because they never do. Maybe not. There's a beautiful machine there that you've had to try really hard to F up." King went on to point out the success of GTA 5 and GTA Online to reaffirm that the company will be fine, but culturally, there could be a major difference going forward. Only time will tell for sure, but considering there was some major censorship already in the GTA trilogy, Definitive Edition, for example, the Confederate flags being removed, and so on, it's possible that King is onto something. He also said, "I think the tone of the content perfected the system to where it is now." So while he thinks the gameplay mechanics will remain intact and Rockstar will build from what they already have, the tone is another story completely. Now let's talk about this for a second. Again, this is completely speculation. This guy hasn't worked at Rockstar for 16 years, so he's just making it up. But it does make sense, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. First of all, let's talk about what means edgy, okay? Because a lot of people are losing their mind, especially on Reddit. People are like, "Oh, so GTA without funny jokes. Awesome." COVID Lover 93 says, "So it's ruined. It's just ruined." Someone else says, "If GTA 6 happens, expect it to be the final GTA game." So for everyone on Reddit, like, GTA is already over. Okay, someone who once a long time ago worked at Rockstar says it might be less edgy. GTA is over. It's all cancelled, okay? Now we have to be clear about this. Less edgy, I think that's what I read into this at least. Less edgy does not mean family friendly, yeah? Or not brutal. Or that it can't have any funny moments or something. I don't think they mean edgy in terms of gore. It could still be an extremely brutal game. But I think it's more in terms of like satire and jokes, especially considering that Lazlow Jones and Dan Houser left the company a while ago, who apparently were like the pulling forces in all the satirical aspects of the game, writing all the radio skits and all that, and the conversations, the dialogue. I think it can be expected that the tone of the game will be slightly different from the previous game. But then again, look at some of the games that Rockstar did in the past, starting with Bully, right? Bully very much was like a slightly toned down GTA story in many ways, but it still maintained like the story qualities that we expect from a game like this. GTA 4, for example, also was much less edgy. It was much darker, it was much more serious, dealing with things like immigration and so on. And also the whole Red Dead Redemption universe is not edgy at all, I would argue. It's quite brutal, it's gory, but it's not edgy. It's a quite serious take. I mean, I understand that the universe of Red Dead has nothing to do, except that it comes from Rockstar with GTA. But I think there's a point to be made about a slightly more serious game. However it turns out, I'm sure it will still carry like the cheesy spirit, right? The satire on American culture that GTA stands for, because that's at the heart of the brand. And even, for example, GTA 4 was a more serious and darker game. It still contained that spirit with all the advertising boards and the brands, how people talked. It just was less edgy than GTA 5. However, keep in mind, if all the rumors are true and GTA 6 actually happens in Florida, then, I mean, Florida is the home of the crazy, right? Florida, man, it's all over the top stuff. So it would be the perfect canvas to paint these kind of hardcore edgy characters. But then again, part of the rumors is also that it will be like a smuggling story playing in the 80s between South America and Florida, and bringing drugs back and forth. So looking at this Narcos universe, there's also room for a very serious story, right? A quite dark story that tells its narrative in a much more serious way, like, you know, with brutal smuggling related stuff, and it could be more down that alley. So again, it's all speculation. I think if it really happens in Florida with the whole Narcos angle, there's room for both. Okay, you could push it over the top, you could keep it quite serious. It just remains to be seen which direction is Rockstar going. But I think, as it is mentioned in this article where he says, look, they already removed the Confederate flags from the definitive edition, I think Rockstar has to go with the times. They're not immune to the changes that are happening in society, right? And all the stereotypes that we saw in GTA 5, even the GTA 4 DLCs like The Ballad of Gay Tony and so on, I would expect way more people get way more offended about all these racial and maybe homophobic stereotypes that we found in the previous GTA games. So I think even Rockstar has to look at the context of society and how everything has changed. I don't think they're immune to how people react to it. And if they have all these homophobic and racist stereotypes in their game, it could potentially really damage the game, because a lot of people get very upset and they're like, look, this is BS. That may have worked 10 years ago, but now we're beyond that. And we want to see more authentic stuff, more real stuff, more finely considered stuff in our games. Because looking back at GTA 5, ultimately that was just like a comedy action movie, right? With completely over-the-top characters like Trevor or maybe Lester, right? The crazy hacker conspiracy guy. It just wouldn't work that well anymore in 2021 or in the years going forward. So looking at the series as a whole, with GTA 4 being more serious, I think GTA 5, in terms of hardcore over-the-top satire, was probably the odd one out. Going forward, I don't think the franchise will immediately at least go back to that kind of crazy over-the-top, edgy, satirical humor. And I think a lot of people would actually appreciate that, especially when it comes to the campaign. I think people would like a slightly more dark and more serious approach to a story. And then there will be a new version of GTA Online, right? GTA 6 Online. And maybe that's the place where they go over the top, where with new downloads, they push it over the edge and they're crazy, edgy and quirky and satirical again. But I would appreciate like a slightly more serious, a darker version of a GTA story that doesn't need a character like Trevor. And I mean, nothing against Trevor as a character. He was extremely well written and funny and stuff. But I think there's a different way of telling a story like that. Anyway, all this is just speculation, but I think it's worth talking about and to just bounce ideas off each other. What do you guys think? Would you appreciate a GTA game that's more dark and serious? Or do you think we need to go back to where we were with GTA 5 and just provoke, right? Just go out there, provoke, have all the stereotypes in there, just have fun with stereotypes, push that part over the edge, no matter how people are gonna react. What are your feelings about this? Please share all that down in the comment section below. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something and had a bit of fun. If you did, don't forget to smash the like button. It helps the channel out. Subscribe for more, and I see you in the next one. I'm out. Bye.